What is up, you heathens and demons, you sinners and saints, you beautiful, blasphemous people? Welcome back to A Raging Atheist. What up, chat? I'm doing a super early stream this morning. I got a hell of a head cold yesterday, just like I predicted in the last stream I did on Chelsea. It seems to be a bit better today. People at my work are sick. Weather here has been up and down. We're in the 40s, we're in the 50s, and then we're getting snow, and then we're in the 40s and 50s, and then we're getting snow. All right. So, a lot happened yesterday. I considered going live yesterday, but instead just watched In Time for a little while. Didn't get too much work done yesterday. I did end up rolling out the new Patreon benefits, and I think that something that makes my Patreon a bit different is all the perks you get at the lowest tier. And then I do think that it is definitely worth being in the upper tiers now. So I'm really happy with the Patreon rollout. Me and Ali was considered that for a long time. So hopefully patrons are happy with that. And as I said in a post yesterday, we're going to continue to look at that to make improvements. I am drinking coffee and I am sick. All right, so last night Iran retaliated. And this morning, we're getting information that no Americans died. And that could very well be true. And there's two elements to that if that is true. But one, that we have been in this boy who cried wolf scenario for 3 years now, with a president that lies about everything, starting with the size of his inauguration crowd, some really ridiculous lie that they didn't have to tell. And it has just went through the last 3 years of having the most blatant lies by a president and his administration than we've ever had. And there's so much misinformation out there, and that's primarily what we're going to be talking about. Now, I promised in my last stream that I was going to start showing you guys some of the girl, her name's Natasha, that I used to cover on my old channel when I first started doing response videos. So we're going to be looking at some of her older material today just to kind of get a feel for just how some Trumpers can believe anything. And this misinformation that's out there, and if you blindly believe something, if you're so partisan that you're just going to blindly believe whatever the authority tells you, then I think we have a serious issue. Now, I'm far left, I don't hide it, but I'm not blind with partisanship. I fully recognize that Obama did a lot of shit. I've called him a war criminal. I try to hold the left even to a higher degree of criticism than the right, even though I do talk about the right mostly. But I battle a lot with the left, especially on Facebook, with people that I know that are in the left. My throat is killing me, y'all. This hot coffee is helping. I want to say what up to Ann Kennedy and everybody that's in the chat. This should be fun, but last night wasn't fun. So last night, those missiles hit. There were over a dozen missiles at two bases. Trump is trying to say that no Americans were killed. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not. But as I said, I think that the credibility of this administration, you can't really believe anything they say. So what if it is true? What if no American troops were actually targeted or killed? There's a lot of fucked up shit involved with that. So the first thing that would be really fucked up about that is that Iran, who's supposed to be a terrorist state, is showing greater restraint than America, which is supposed to be the beacon of freedom and democracy. That's the first fucked up element of that, is that Iran, a so-called terrorist state, is showing greater restraint. I think there's a very big problem with that. The second element is, I can hear the plane that's flying overhead. The second element of that is that Iran can use that now as a bargaining chip with the rest of the world, saying, hey, look at us. we're actually not the terrorist state. America's the terrorist state. America's committing war crimes. America's killing political leaders. America's killing generals, assassinating generals. We're not doing that. So, I mean, none of that's good. But the good thing about it is maybe because of this narrative that no Americans were killed, maybe Trump won't respond. Maybe World War III can be averted one more time. So that's the good thing about that, right? Like, but we're talking about Donald Trump. There's no fucking telling what that dude's gonna do because they did fire missiles at our bases. But Republicans are saying, well, this should be evens even Stevens. But is it? I mean, if no American troops were killed, is that a proportionate attack by Iran? So would Iran be done? We know that Iran has militias in Iraq. Are they going to be openly targeting American soldiers now? We don't know the answers to these questions. And as I said, I will not be surprised if we find out that Americans did die. Because the Pentagon, the military, and the president have no credibility. And it goes before fucking President Trump, because they've been lying about the casualties of these wars since we entered these wars. That's through Bush, Obama, and Trump. So that's not all on Trump. So it's hard for me to just automatically believe it. But the problem is that Trumpers do just automatically believe whatever they're fed. I woke up this morning and I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw a couple memes. I saw a lot more, but I'm only going to show you guys two, just to give you guys kind of like an idea of just the blind partisanship. People that 3 years ago were talking about how Trump is going to get us out of these endless wars. Trump wants to get us out of the Middle East. These same people are now glorifying this shit. So I saw this one. This is a list of all, some attacks that Iran has done against America. And I'm not saying Iran hasn't done any attacks against America. What I am saying is America is over there. We're occupying Iraq. Iraq and Iran have been in conflict over land for a very long time. So you're going to justify committing a war crime just because Iran has been an enemy combatant. Now, there's ways to fight wars. That's just one of them. This is the one that really kind of set my blood a-boiling this morning. Iran, I didn't. There's so much wrong with that. So much wrong with that I can't even put it into words. This is a meme promoting violence and murder over diplomacy, over peace, over treaties that was working. So that's kind of what we're dealing with, y'all. Just this blind partisanship. And it's really hard to make the blind see because they're blind. They can't see. And I understand that I have some shit myself. Like, I've got real issues with right-wing talking points that just trigger the fuck out of me. I'm not perfect. But I think those of us on the left really, at least a lot of us, are trying not to be partisan. I try to give Trump credit when credit is due. I'm a staunchly anti-war, far-left Democrat. So, of course, I'm against this shit, right? I mean, I can see that I'm biased here. But, I've been covering, Trumpers for a while. And there's this element of Trump support. And not all Trump supporters are like this. I know some very rational Trump supporters. I know some Trump supporters that will sit there and conversate with me for hours and make very legitimate points. It's hard to get them on here. I know them in real life. It's hard to get Trump supporters on here to have that conversation. But there is this element of Trump support that will blindly believe anything this man says, despite all the evidence to the fact that he lies. And we're going to be looking at one of those Trumpers today. I've never covered her here on A Raging Atheist. I usually try to stick to religion. I think it's very hard not to talk politics now when we have a president really trying to blur those separations of church and state. I think it's really hard not to talk politics, especially when we have an idiot president doing idiot shit, and we have a population, a segment of our population that just is cool with it. So I figured we'd watch some of her older videos. Now, since the last time I watched some of this woman's videos, she has figured out how to use screen share. So now it's pretty much all screen share shit. I haven't seen any of her new videos, but I wanted to show you guys just some of the old videos, just showing not just her, but what a lot of these people think. Yeah, you're right. Well, it's never gonna end, and I'm sorry, I'm being bad about showing comments and shit. I'm doing this super early, a lot earlier than I usually do, so my moderators aren't up. They're not ready. I did a little announcement on Discord, but nothing like major. I just decided to do this because I really think that this needs to be talked about. Do I hope that no American soldiers were killed in those attacks? Hell yeah, I do. I really hope that that's the truth. Do I hope that we don't go to war with Iran? Shit, you're damn right. I hope we do not go to war with Iran. I think it's pretty much an impossibility. I think we're going to be going to war with Iran. I think that, another thing to these arguments about how Iran deserved this, Iran is this terrorist organization, before we get into Tasha, is, all right, let me get my laptop caught up. All right. So, is the nature of Iran against the rest of the Muslim world. There's this thing in Islam that a lot of Americans just don't understand. We as America obviously didn't understand it when we went back into the Middle East, and that is the rift between Sunnis and Shias. This rift goes back over 1,200 years to when Muhammad died and his successor. Who was going to be his successor? It is let me see. The Shias, I'm looking at population. So the Shias believe that Ali should have been the natural successor to Muhammad. Ali was the fourth caliph. The Shias believe he should have been the second. Now, the Shias only consist of about 10 to 13% of Muslims in that region, Iran being their stronghold. Shias are about 90% of the Iranian population, with about 10% being Sunni. Iran is 99.4% Muslim, so you got to think about that. These countries are very different. These countries are theocracies. They're not like America. So Iran is in the middle of hostile territory all around them. Pretty much the whole Muslim world is against Iran, based upon this 1,200-year-old beef and some other shit. Now, when we overthrew the Sunnis in Iraq, I believe we installed some Shias into power. Now, I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I haven't paid too much attention to the power dynamics of Iraq since the war officially ended. Since that old general, whatever his name was for Bush, downgraded, and the war's essentially been pretty much over, the major activities. I haven't really paid much attention to it. But I do know that Iraq and Iran have had conflict over land for a long time. Saddam Hussein used mustard gas against Iran to gain back territory. That was a big, huge thing. So, I mean, this conflict, it's very nuanced. And the country in the area that would benefit the most from Iran falling would be Saudi Arabia. And there is this thing like, are the Sunnis willing to allow the outside Western civilization of America to come in and get rid of their Shia problem? I think that's what we're going to see, because I think that we're on a natural escalation. Trump has been on a maximum pressure campaign against Iran. He broke the treaty. He's been on a maximum pressure campaign. And now we've seen it escalate into violence. We'll see how it escalates further. Hopefully there will be no war. But it's going to be hard to have no war when you're dealing with this. Let's meet Natasha, y'all.
So I'm also getting information that on another video on YouTube that Joe Arpaio had tried to issue an arrest warrant for Obama when they found out about the fake birth certificate. The fantasy is that you pass that to the FBI and then they go make an arrest. What the Hillary Clinton Foundation did is make every single piece of government party to the crimes, everybody. So that this, so
All right, so this video is about 2 years old, and she's literally saying this is a Trumper. Her name's Natasha, 78D, Fit and Wellness. She's literally saying that Sheriff Joe Arpaio was trying to indict the sitting president of the United States, Barack Obama, and only couldn't do so because the Hillary Clinton Foundation incorporated all of government into the criminality of covering up Obama's crimes. Now, this same Trumper right here and Trumpers all across the land are celebrating today the fact that you can't indict a sitting president. Straight hypocrisy. Just straight gonna believe any bullshit you hear or read on the internet. This is what we're dealing with. This ain't all Trump supporters, but it's a lot of them. Gonna believe just fucking anything. The crazy's just starting.
James Comey, Loretta Lynch, they were party to the crimes and couldn't do their jobs. And the DOJ couldn't prosecute, the Attorney General couldn't prosecute, and Obama and FBI couldn't even carry out arrests. And so they were paralyzed. The problem when they got put under Trump is that they're all still guilty. So once again, there was another country, I can't remember what it was, that was really dismayed with Obama because they wouldn't play, and they were probably asked to play the dirty sellout game of their own country. And so
So she doesn't even know what she's talking about, and she's talking. you know, uh, they don't understand politics, but think that they do, and that's a huge problem. That's a huge fucking problem. They believe everything they read in the Blaze and the Daily this and the Daily that. It's hard to fight against that. It's hard to fight against people that will just blindly support anything. Even the degradation of American values, even the destruction of the American reputation throughout the world. And we've been destroying that reputation long before Donald Trump. Whatever made us the world police? Whatever gave us the right to go into somebody's country and just start killing everybody? Oh, you're not a democracy like we are. We're going to come and take you out. You know, when Osama bin Laden flew those planes into the towers, that was a small group of terrorists. And now we have invaded the Middle East for 20 years. But these people don't understand that. They only understand the propaganda that they've been fed.
So, like I said, the drug bust just happen to be a bonus. It's, again, not the first drug bust.
Yeah, I mean nobody watches her anymore because yeah, she got big off of a meme and she's cray cray. But a lot of Trump supporters are like this. Like I talk to a lot of Trump supporters like this, Will, on a daily basis down in North Carolina, right up here in Michigan. It's the actual town that I live in is kind of Trump country here in Michigan. Everybody's a Trump supporter. There's very few lefties here, even the young people. So I mean, this is the type of shit that we deal with. We still hear about the Obama birth certificate. We still hear about Benghazi. We still hear about the Hillary Clinton's crimes and the Clinton Foundation and Bill Clinton's a pedophile. We hear all that. I hear all that shit every fucking day. As Trump commits crime after crime, and they're blind to fucking see it. But yeah, this chick is funny. That's the main reason why I'm sharing her today. Is she's funny. She's funny.
That's ever happened. It's just one of the largest, and I think it is the largest. That money that was in that drug bust was supposed to fund ISIS because Hillary and Obama are the ones that created ISIS. If you remember when they were taking down,
that money was going to fund ISIS, and Hillary and Obama created ISIS. No understanding of the Middle East, no understanding of what ISIS is. ISIS was the caliphate. The caliphate has been around for 1,200 years. Since Muhammad. Muhammad was the first caliph. Created the empire. The caliphate ended in the early 1900s with the end of the Ottoman Empire. And since then, there have been Muslims that have wanted to bring the caliphate back. Donald Trump can say the caliphate is 100% completely destroyed like he did yesterday. Now, he means ISIS, but he said the caliphate. And the only way you're going to 100% destroy the caliphate, or people wanting the caliphate to come back, is to do what you threatened and fucking nuke the Middle East. Because there's always going to be Muslims that want the caliphate back. Always. She doesn't understand that.
Iraq, and we went in there and did all that. Boom, out of nowhere came this other terror group that we had never heard of. It's because they created it to keep the whole thing going. We're in a time, everybody.
And I really shouldn't be surprised that Will Kincaid knows who Natasha is. What's up, Will? I shouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
Where social media exposes what happened, and they can't get away with it anymore. All these things were done before any of it was ever on social media. Obama is so stupid that when he got into presidency, he asked for keeping his BlackBerry and being allowed to have social media. And he figured,
so she's criticizing Obama for wanting to keep his BlackBerry, while Donald Trump is using his cell phone to call Giuliani in Ukraine one of the hotbeds of stolen information in the world. That's the blindness. She won't criticize Trump, but she'll criticize Obama for keeping his BlackBerry. And I don't even think he kept the fucking BlackBerry. He just wanted to, and they wouldn't let him, and he gave in. Trump didn't give in. That's the blindness. You cannot make the blind see. Just can't. So there's going to be this element, no matter what, a good 20-30% of the Republican base, that no matter what Trump does, they're going to follow. And then that other 70%, we'll call it like 65% of Trump support, will follow about 98% of the shit. But these people are going to follow 100%. Donald Trump could literally shoot somebody in the head live on television and they support him. Oh, he's president. He can do that.
I'll just wiretap everybody. I'll put everybody on surveillance. We'll put everything in whatever, and we'll be able to control it. And he's just not smart enough to figure out that it backfired because it revealed all his crimes. And then just say, I'm inside my own private home, not hurting anybody, but, I do something. They would have used that to blackmail every single person into silence because that was their plan. The only problem is they just don't.
I mean, I think we all know that our government is pretty much too inept to keep secrets. I think Donald Trump is finding out that the hard fucking way with this whole Ukraine thing. They tried to keep it a secret. Shit blew the fuck up. Our government can't keep secrets. There's no way that our government's going to be able to blackmail everybody involved in anything. People talk. It's the age of information. And, our government is notorious for leaking. All administrations, Republican, Democrat, they all leak. Can't keep secrets in Washington.
Understand the magnitude of social media. You can text, you can email, you can private message, direct message, messenger, Snapchat, Instagram, and all those things that make money allow for private messages for people to help you. And it's way too big for a sick, twisted, corrupt government to be able to handle.
So we had a sick, twisted, corrupt government under Obama, but not under Trump. Trump's drained that swamp. Trump is the most pure president we've ever had. He's for the people. All right, that's enough of that one. We're just going to check out a few of her videos. Let's get rid of that. We'll just check out. I'm actually in her popular list, popular uploads list, and as you can see, they're all 2 years ago and longer. Because yeah, she doesn't get watched anymore. She still is at 41.7K subscribers, but that number used to be a lot higher. But let's see. There's just a whole list. We can go. California residents fed up. Nancy Pelosi's daughter turned state evidence. Megyn Kelly, all done at NBC. Story continues on Nancy Pelosi. YouTube stutters over Obama arrest. Which one do I want to watch? Obama even had a fake marriage.
Oh God, you guys, this is so funny. We don't get many laughs these days. Okay, so when you use a fake dead person's social security number from 1890 and call that your identity and then try to be the president, the one bad thing is that your marriage is fake. So I'm like, what? But it's true. If you use a fake identity to go marry Michelle Obama and she's got a fake identification, you don't even have to get divorced because the marriage isn't even real. When I saw that, you guys, I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
I think I'm going to have a fucking heart attack right now. Holy shit. Oh, so because of a fake conspiracy theory about Obama's birth certificate, he's using a fake identity. So he has a fake marriage with Michelle Obama. Oh, you can't make the blind see, y'all. You just can't make the blind see. I've tried, and it's like it's literally like slamming your head against a fucking wall. I got this fucking head cold right now. It's literally like slamming your head against a fucking wall. And unfortunately, well, oh yeah, she's a birther. Unfortunately, a good chunk of Trump's base are birthers. This is what we're dealing with. You cannot make the blind see. Too funny.
Okay, there's another article in here about Obama and talking about how he's still trying to operate with illicit money in the deep state, even though he's out of power and out of business. And the other thing is, I have a picture in here of his body double that came out today on Twitter and showed exactly how they fake him. And one thing I want everyone to remember, I don't like to pick on anybody for anything, but to recognize the difference between the fake Obama and the real Obama. The real Obama had like a little mole right here on his face, and I just happen to remember it because when he got elected, we had close-ups of him. Fake Obama does not have that. He has sort of the
Oh, I've never heard this shit before. Holy fuck. Oh, she's now taking up the Eminem conspiracy with Barack Obama. Now, there's a conspiracy out about Eminem because Eminem's had a lot of fucking plastic surgery. Let's be honest. There's a conspiracy theory about how the government has replaced Eminem with their clone. And she's now applying that to Barack. I have never heard this before. I have never heard this one before. There was a real Obama, so she's not even talking about the birth certificate right now. She's talking about the fact that the Obama that got elected was replaced with a clone, with a fake Obama. Holy shit. Let me answer that. All right, sorry about that. I have to keep the phone on during the day, like usually, just in case my daughter's school called. I thought that might have been them, but I got nothing. It wasn't them. So yeah. I mean, I've just never heard that before. That's a new one to me. Will Kincaid, you seem to be familiar with this shit. Is this the first time you ever heard about an Obama clone?
same face and features, and he is definitely a look-alike, and they probably altered him to have eyebrow matching and whatever they could to make him close as Obama. But he's not Obama. And one other thing I want to tell people about the reason that this is so important to understand what's happening. These people operated into the trillions and trillions of dollars that's beyond what you and I know how to even process and comprehend. And they're hysterical because they always overspent it.
All right, a birther, Orla Saraf, is somebody that believes that Barack Obama wasn't a United States citizen. They don't believe the birth certificate he provided after pressure from the likes of Alex Jones and Donald Trump. They say that he provided a fake birth certificate and that he is really a member of what was this? He was really born in Somalia, and his dad was a Muslim extremist, and he's a Muslim extremist, and all of that jazz. But pretty much, essentially, they're saying he's not an American citizen, so he should have never been president.
And so everything that they bought has been seized, and he still had illicit money somewhere else of which he was trying to operate, and they're on to him. And so this is how hard it is to take down the deep state, because it just doesn't involve him. He and Hillary were like political figures that were used as a brand in which they carried out all their terror missions. And sadly, he got into the White House that way.
So, like, they believe every little thing that they hear. Now, like, I was a very big critic of Barack Obama. Like, I would defend him mainly because people like Natasha here would make me defend him. They would say outlandish shit that had no reality and truth, and you would have to defend somebody that you didn't necessarily want to. Everybody says how Barack Obama was the greatest president in their lifetime. I just don't see that. And it's mainly because that there is, on both sides, there's not an accounting of truth. Barack Obama committed fucking war crimes. Barack Obama used drones ruthlessly and got a fucking Nobel Peace Prize for it. Barack Obama, until Donald Trump, had deported more people than anybody. Deporter in chief. But they don't use valid, legitimate criticisms. They believe the worst propaganda meant to demonize the other side. To make the other side the enemy instead of a difference of opinion. And our side allowed that for 20, 30 years. And now we're the dickheads because, we're fighting against it now. We're not just letting them run rampant. And it's too late because the misinformation is everywhere. And people believe the shit. They don't know how to think for themselves. It's this group think that guides them forward. I see it in people that I love. You cannot make the blind see no matter how hard you try. No matter how hard you try, you just can't. There's a very small number of minds that you'll change. And not all of them are as extreme as Natasha here. But it's still hard to change their minds. It's hard to change mine. But I've done it. I've seen none of that from these people. We'll check out one more. Let's see what other crazy shit she's got to say. And then we'll get out of here and I'll start cleaning. Trying to get that stuff done because I got stuff to do tomorrow and I want to get some work done tomorrow. So, I want to get work done on my day off from actual work. What else does she got? Get all photos off of Facebook. USA state of emergency. Toxic people are never sorry. The deep state map leads us right to who is who. Let's check that. That sounds interesting. So, one last video. We'll check this one out.
I'm going to try to hold this steadily and scroll down this unbelievable map, just in case they ever try to take it down. So there's the map.
So, I mean, you can see that this is from QAnon. We're in that level of crazy now. QAnon. Mitch McConnell just went live. Shit is going down. Yeah, I have to see what's going down. Well, I'll be off of here soon.
Of everything. And it's, look at, this is so intense. This is the intricate map of every single person involved. And whoever took the time to do this is a genius. They located where they are, how to connect the dots.
They're a genius. They're a fucking genius. This is like enemy of the state shit, y'all. I mean, like, this is fucking seriously. Oh, QAnon, so funny. I mean, it's funny and it's sad. It's funny and it's terrifying.
Follow the money. Follow more money. The breakdown, remember the Illuminati eye and that stuff? The deep state network, how it's all connected like cells. Then it breaks down some even more. Keeps going. Talking about our priests that are predators and part of the pedogate. And they hide it through the church. And as I've told people a long time ago, some of them...
All right. Just crazy. You know, and again, you know, that's not all Trump supporters, of course. But it's a lot of them. You know, it's a lot of them. And it's hard to combat that. Like, it's hard to combat just blind partisanship. Oh, you're just a liberal. Can't listen to you. You're the enemy. I try not to do that. You know, I have a lot of disdain for people like Natasha there. I have a lot of disdain for people that don't take the time to try to at least understand politics, because politics is so vitally important in a democracy like ours. You need to understand it. You need to understand the Constitution if you're going to vote and put people into power that's going to have authority in this democracy. Unfortunately, it's just way too much misinformation. And this is exactly how Russia was able to influence the 2016 election. Was all of that information turned into a weapon? And what have we done to stop it? What has Donald Trump done to stop that from happening in 2020? If you don't know, let me tell you. Nothing. Congress allocated money, I think like $200 million to defend that in 2020. They have spent zero. They have done nothing. Except for wage a war against actual information. Except for taking over the brand fake news and leveling it at legitimate news organizations. Now, I have issues with CNN and MSNBC and their oligarchy narratives, but they're legitimate news organizations. That's not fake news. Fake news is the Blaze. Fake news is the daily this or the daily that. Fake news is your birther sites, your truther sites. I mean, that's all fake news and fake information. Conspiracy theories. But it's what we're up against. And it's how 3 years after a buffoon gets elected into office, he can assassinate a political leader of a nation. And I don't even think it's guaranteed that the Sunni nations will actually support that. I think Saudi Arabia will, because Saudi Arabia is too incorporated into our corruption. They're linked with us now. They need us for their genocide in Yemen. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that all of the Sunni world is going to support the assassination of a Shia general. I don't think that at all. But we'll see. What I do think we're doing is making America that demon over there, worse than ever before. We're there to threaten their religion and their way of life. What would we do in that situation if they were here trying to do the same to us in a land with 350 million guns? There wouldn't be insurgencies here. Would we be terrorists if we were to fight against Iran if they were here and we were to pick up our guns and go and kill some Iranians? Is that terrorism? I don't think we would call that terrorism, but we do it when it's them. We call them terrorists. I think we need to look at this word, and I think we need to look at our place in this world. Because what made us the authority? What made us the police? And now we got a fucking madman at the helm of that. So I want to get off and see what's happening. I want to get to cleaning. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Haven't done too many of these political streams lately, but I plan on doing a little bit more. Tomorrow, it is Wednesday, right? Yeah, so tomorrow we will have Pig Puncher on for our Thursday night stream. That'll be a political conversation. It'll be a great conversation. I'm going to try to get Progressive Liberal and Mikey on. Maybe we'll talk more about this whole Iran situation with them. And I'm going to get back to making edited content. Patreon is going to be booming with shit in the next week or so. So, until the next time, guys. And I did fix my Patreon screen, so first look at the Patreon screen. Until next time, I'll see you soon.